Hey folks, I have a very powerful idea that I would like to share with you today. It is about meditation, but don't worry, I'm not here to simply promote the benefits of meditating. I think at this point we've all learned a lot and we're all fully aware of how beneficial it is to meditate and that we should all be doing it. What I do want to share is that we may only be using 10% or 5% of its full potential for how powerful it really could be for us. I was having a conversation this morning with a coaching client, and she's currently going through the Discover Your Purpose program. And in that program, I recommend, if the clients want to add in meditating as they go through the exercises. It's not a mandatory part of the program, but it is very beneficial just to help gain clarity throughout that process. And we were just chatting about meditation in general, and she asked me, she just said, how often do you meditate and how long do you do it for? And I immediately just said, I live in meditation. And she started laughing. And then I just had a very straight, I took it very seriously, but I was also very surprised that I had said it because I've never said that before. And I knew as soon as the words came out of my mouth, and this happens to me sometimes where I surprise myself with things that I say, but I knew as soon as I said it that this new concept had been born. And it's a way that I've been living for a long time, but I've never really thought about it in that light. And we kind of dug deeper into what I was talking about. And I just said, I said to her, why do we meditate? And we kind of went through it, and, we were talking about how it helps us to slow down and gain clarity and pay better attention to how we're feeling and our thoughts and all these things. And I said, exactly. And that's what's so powerful about meditating. But one of the things that I had learned when I first got into meditating, and I do meditate every day for 20 minutes first thing in the morning. It's extremely powerful. I get to slow down and it creates clarity. But what I learned for a very long time of meditating was I would do that in the morning, and then I would hop in my car and I'd drive to work, and someone would cut me off and it was game over. Immediately I was right back into the normal routine. There was nothing about meditating. I didn't really consider anything about that. And I always thought about that a lot, about how, meditating is good, but, I need to add in some tangible items and concepts that I can take with me throughout my day that are going to help me to lead a better life and a better quality of life. And over these past few months, what I've been doing is, as a lot of you may be aware, is I've been setting, and you may do this as well. That's what I mean by if you're aware. But when I wake up, first thing I do is I set my intentions for the day. And I have two intentions. The first one is to manage my emotions and pay attention to what is triggering me. The second one is to pay attention to and decide what mental state I'm choosing to live in. I think when it comes to self-awareness and personal development and growth and exploration, there's two major areas of consideration, which I think are mental and emotional. There's also physical, there's exercise. You guys know I'm a big believer in all that stuff. But really, on a deeper level about who we are as human beings, I think it's mental and emotional. So I'm in a crazy world right now of really learning about who I am, what I need to work on, where my strengths are, where my weaknesses are, and I'm really tuned in, and I have been for the last couple months, about setting intentions on a daily basis. The first thing in the morning when I wake up is to have the intentions for that day of paying attention to my emotions and managing what's triggering me, and just paying attention to it, not trying to control my emotions, but managing them and how I react to them. And also with my mindset. Do I want to live in a powerful mindset or a primal mindset? Do I want to choose an abundance mindset or a scarcity mindset? And make that decision. And this is something that I do throughout the day. As soon as I wake up, every time I catch myself, if I'm feeling off, if something triggers me, if I feel like I'm living in a mindset of scarcity, where I'm living in a place of fear, I pay attention very closely to these things, and I manage them and I take care of them. We can't control our emotions and our thoughts, but we can absolutely make a decision about how we're going to act on them. And everything is really a decision. You can choose to live in a primal state of being scared and living in fear, or an abundance mindset and a powerful state of love and growth and opportunity. And emotionally, we can pay very close attention. And these are things that we do when we meditate. So for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, one of the main things that we want to do is we want to focus on self-awareness. We want to pay attention to what we're feeling during that time. We don't take any action. We just see what's coming up and what we're paying attention to. And we pay attention to what are we thinking, how are we feeling that day, and we go through this process. The problem is, once we're done meditating, for a lot of us, not all of us, but for most of us, including myself for a very long time, is we then turn it off and we leave it on our meditation pillow or our place of meditation, and we carry on with our day, leaving it all behind. So when I said, because I have these intentions, and when I said that I live in meditation, this really is true, because I am paying extreme awareness to how I feel and think throughout the day. Now, that may sound exhausting. It absolutely is. I mean, for the first couple of weeks of just, you get to a point where you get mentally tired at one part of the day, where eventually you just can't do it anymore. And you may find yourself slipping back into that, scarcity mindset or whatever it might be. But as you go through it over a couple of weeks, we really notice that you do gain control and you're able to manage what we're thinking, what we're feeling. So what I learned to do is really take what I was doing in that meditation practice for 10 and 20 minutes and carry it through the day with me to use it when I actually needed it. Because meditating in the morning and then leaving it behind and getting up, and then you get in a fight with your loved one or your boss at work, or road rage or whatever it may be, it's kind of like we train in jiu-jitsu for 20 years, 30 years, and then we get in a fight and we don't use it. It's like we're preparing, we're building these amazing weapons to combat life and any challenges that we face, and then as soon as we face one of those challenges, our weapons are nowhere to be found. So the real secret of meditation, and why I really feel that we are only using a very, very, very small percentage of the potential of meditation, is because we're only using it for that part of the day. We really need to say, okay, why do we meditate? This is why, and when we're in that element of paying attention to who we are, we're very powerful. But the real secret to taking meditation to a level that really will change your life in a very quick and powerful way is to continue with your practice throughout the day and using it at times when you really need it. So if you're sitting down quiet and peaceful, paying attention to your thoughts, that's fantastic. But what about, when someone does cut you off? And, that's when we really need to start paying attention to, okay, what feelings are coming up? That just triggered me for sure. How am I thinking about this? And then implementing my intentions at that point. I think there's an extremely powerful lesson here for people who are willing to take their meditation practice with them throughout their day. You don't need to close your eyes. You don't need to be in your meditation position. You don't need to listen to, your favorite person or whatever it might be. You just need to become aware of your thoughts and your feelings as they come up, and implement them when you need to implement your strategies and your tactics against those when you need to the most. And this has been one of the biggest lessons. I've shared some very powerful lessons with all of you in the past. This is by far one of the most powerful ones. If you want to learn more about my actual strategies and tactics that I use when I do notice that something triggers me, or I do find myself living in a primal state, I'm happy to share those with you. It is part of my coaching program. And it's just knowing this alone can be the most powerful thing that you take away, in a lot of areas. Just pay attention throughout the day and take that practice through you everywhere you go.